I'm going to be base jumping tandem to some good looking dude. We're going to be jumping off some cliff somewhere.
That's
Dead carcass all the way down into the canyon because I was, but this was awesome. And then I just checked out. And welcome to the Social Grenade podcast. And today, after some begging and pleading and coercing, I finally got my friend Jessy Castillo to be on here with me to talk all things. First of all, like women in this space, and then what is the magic behind, the Elliott group and what goes on there, and then what just attracted her to all of that. There's just so many things I want to know. Like, don't we all want to pull the curtain back and see what goes on at the Elliott camp, at the Lions Den, and all the fun that goes on there? So, Jessy, welcome. I'm so happy you agreed to join me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin.
Absolutely. Like, you're one of my favorite people. It's funny whenever Andy goes, hey, you have to talk to Jessy. Like, she's my girl for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, great. And then that didn't ever disappoint. Like, it was always like, sometimes there's people that will hype somebody up and then you get to them and you're like, oh, he was just getting rid of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not the truth. If Andy Elliott says, hey, Jessy's the girl you need to talk to, she's going to do X, Y, Z for you, you can guarantee that Jessy will 100% execute on whatever it is that Andy said about her. So it's pretty amazing. So let's start off. Like, how did you get into this space? So what did you do before you were with the Elliott Army?
Oh my God, we're going to go back about 25 years
Woo,
because I know Andy and Jackie 25 years when
wow.
I first started in the auto industry. And so Jackie came in to be in management, and Andy was a salesperson at the used car dealership right next door. So that's how we met.
Were they together then?
No, that's when he started chasing Jackie
Yeah.
then. Yes, and I remember, oh my goodness, he had frosted hair tips. Andy was a savage then, just as much as he is now. He was always into his health, so he was always fit and lean and working out, and he bulked and he would get lean. But Jackie came to the dealership as a BDC manager. And I was going to start the BDC department with her. And that's how me and her became very, very close.
That's
And
awesome.
that's when Andy started chasing her. Yep, that's where he met. That's how we all met. We were kids back then. What happened was I ended up moving to Florida 10 years later. And that ended up basically, we just kept up through Facebook, not even Facebook, MySpace and Facebook. And so Jackie was pregnant at the same time I was pregnant. And so we talked even more then through social media. I fast forward now, 2000, and I'm not even sure what years, like 6 years ago. What year are we in now?
2019, so 2019 maybe, before
So
COVID.
2019, yes, I experienced COVID here in Arizona. And that's when Jackie and Andy saw that I was here and they were looking at some real estate. And I showed them Fountain Hills, and that's how headquarters became here in Fountain Hills.
Were you selling real estate here? Is that what you were doing?
No, I was in the mortgage industry, so I'm obsessed with properties, real estate, financing, mortgages. So I did 10 years in the automotive industry. And then when I went to Florida, I actually worked at Bank of America corporate in the back finance auto end. And so I got to do all the back end deals for the automotive. Well, they opened mortgages for Latin speaking individuals. And so they offered me the opportunity and I crushed it. I was already in sales. I was already a customer service person. I already knew the financing from the automotive industry. And so all they did was switch the product for me from auto to cars. And yeah, that was like a game changer for me. I loved it. I did the whole refinance market industry.
Yeah.
Everybody had to do the hard loans because everybody was under. So I was helping a lot of, and I loved that too. I was always helping people get out of their current financial situation into a better one. So happens that I met my now fiance on a cruise, and he lives in Arizona. And that's how I ended up back here in Arizona. And Andy and Jackie are here now. So we got together that way.
So when you were here, though, they weren't in Arizona yet.
No,
They were still in Oklahoma.
they were in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Jackie saw that I had moved down here and there was a property she was interested in purchasing. And so she came, flew in, stayed with me. We went to go look at the house. It got sold out under from her.
Mhm.
But that is actually the layout that she then decided to sketch out her house. That is her current dream home now.
Nice, 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 nice. And so then at what point did you, so I was in mortgage as well, but like I got out when the mortgage meltdown happened, or actually I wrote it for as long as I could after the mortgage meltdown. And I think about 10, 11, I was done. It was just impossible. It was impossible to get anything done. And so I understand that industry intimately. So at what point did you go, okay, I'm going to gamble on. Did you stay in mortgage until you went to work for Jackie?
I was doing mortgages here in Arizona, and then when Andy and Jackie were here and they did their first seminar, April 10th of 2021, where I was present, and that's when I decided to totally recreate myself. I had settled in a lot of how I was thinking, and it was such a refreshing reminder from my previous friends that we
Mhm.
had the same mindset, and I kind of got lost. And
Yeah,
so it was just aligning myself right back to where I needed to be. And so Andy and Jackie always knew I was smart. And so they're like, yes, come help us build this. And I said, I am down to helping you guys build this.
yeah. So when you first jumped in, what was your position?
Basically helping answer all the organic leads.
Okay,
Andy taught me how to make sure, we initially took care of them so that he could go ahead and get that call. And
nice.
the coaches too.
Yeah, for sure. So I think about 2021 at that time frame right there because I know Andy's story and I know like what he did during COVID was just like put out content, put out content, put out content, and then we got on the other side of COVID, and that's really when the gasoline hit the fire, don't you think?
Absolutely.
And
Because
what was that
what
first event like? You know what I'm saying? Like that first event, how many people were there? What was it like? Like this is ground zero, the beginning of what we know now is, Elliott hashtag international.
Well, it was funny because they went from in Oklahoma, 700 square foot, small little closet looking like office. And then we were here in Arizona and we actually had a school. And the whole, not even the auditorium, it was like the cafeteria, library area that was full and open space. And we didn't care. If you didn't care about COVID and you wanted to come and learn and be present and actually get better while everybody was hiding in their rooms, then guess what? Our doors are open. And sure enough, we would get in trouble for it. The cops would come and roll by, but it's okay. We behaved always and we were always safe. People wore their masks. We
Yeah,
had sanitizers, but ultimately, they weren't gonna let the circumstances of the world stop them from what they needed to learn at that moment.
right. And that's so funny because doesn't that seem like, I mean, when you talk about the sanitizer and the mask, doesn't it seem like 100 years ago? Like it does to me.
Yes.
It's like, oh God, I can't even imagine that we all, went through and lived through all of that. I'll call it bondage, right? Like it was like these chains that somebody just draped over us. And then, if you think about those times too, for Andy to be like becoming an online presence, for you guys as a company becoming an online presence in a time where everybody online was fighting about, are you going to kill my grandparents if you don't get vaccinated? Or I can't believe you went out in public without a mask on. I mean, everything was so volatile. And then we come into BLM, right? Black Lives Matters. Like online was a dangerous, almost minefield, you know what I'm saying? It was
Yes.
so to be it starting or kicking off or flourishing an online business at that time had to be, seems like, tougher than normal. Or was it easier than normal because you guys had a positive message in the middle of this black fog?
No, it's still a constant battle. We live in a really, really dark, depressed world where people aren't really kind. You have such a small percentage of people that actually pour and influence and nurture and lead versus what we have now where people just put you down if you're not smart enough, quick enough, versus actually mentoring you to be the right person that you need to be. So yeah, no, it's a constant battle. Like right now, the girls' six pack page got taken down. The girls are super proud of their achievements because they're working really hard on their physical physique. And I do understand body image, especially with children and girls that age. But here's the thing, girls that are eating the things that are making them depressed and the things they're watching is making them depressed. If you just pull away, start giving them whole foods, start making them actually do physical activities, things with your body, they'll no longer be depressed.
Right. It's true.
It all goes away. Why? Because they're in emotion. They literally removed the word emotion. If you take out that E, it goes straight into motion. And that is exactly what you need to do. Ignore your emotions and go straight into motion.
It's
And
funny
so,
because I have a friend of mine that struggled with migraines a lot, and she wasn't heavy at all. I don't know that she was fit, but she was like a thinner build person. And then she got into working out and doing CrossFit. And that almost becomes like a, I hate the word cult, but it almost becomes like that these people are this huge group of people and they just believe all of this stuff about CrossFit is the only way to work out, whatever. And she got rid of her migraines. She did nothing else. She changed nothing else other than adding strength training and endurance and all of those things to her daily regimen that she does, right? And so you have to know, I struggle with migraines too. And
Epic BDC is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Tune in.
There are times when, because they're triggered by different things, it's almost like the unknown thing that you can't solve, like PCOS, right? Nobody can solve what we're, because mine may be because of foods that have histamines in them.
yes.
And so it may be histamine triggered, where others may be stress or dehydration or whatever. There's so many different factors that weigh into why people get migraines. And so, but the thing is that also, once I started dropping weight and started working out regularly, I saw my migraines lessen up also. And so we think about that and the things that you eat as well. So now, whenever I eat something, if I get a headache immediately, I go, oh, that must go on the list of foods that probably have histamines in them that I should avoid if I'm going to. And I didn't even discover that till I was having a conversation with somebody else, and they're like, you know what, tell me about your migraines. And I was telling them about them. And then I remembered that one time I had to go, well, more than once, I had to go to the hospital for my migraines. And one of the things they give me is Benadryl. They have a 3 medicine shot, and it's Benadryl, caffeine, and then some version of a painkiller, like a Tylenol, whatever, like one of those things, or an Excedrin, whatever. And that combination is the cocktail that they get. And so when you think about that, they're giving you an antihistamine because maybe your histamines are what are triggering that. But when you're talking about young girls, I have an employee that works for me that gosh, I'm really reluctant to talk about this because it's such a sensitive subject for her right now. But she has her children are suffering from childhood obesity, and then not triggered by the childhood obesity. Nobody has said this triggered this. Her daughter is right now in the middle of battling leukemia. and I told her, I said, look, before she was sick, like when we were talking like a year and a half ago, before there was ever any diagnosis of leukemia, whatever. And I told her, I said, look, I said, the thing is right now, I said, I know you want them to be happy and you're going to feed them whatever you want to feed them. And, you're not going to require them to do these things because you want to be the good mom. I said, however, I said, their joints are growing. Their knees and their hips were not built at this age to carry this weight. The stress that's going on their body right now, they're going to carry for a lifetime. And you have to be aware of that as well. Not to mention their organs are currently being saturated with fat because they have that internal fat just around them, right? Like it's just saturating their organs. They can't function properly because they're having to combat all this fat that's surrounding them. And I was trying to tell her these things. And so when her daughter got diagnosed with leukemia, she was like very, very concerned because she wasn't, and she's like 11. She wasn't healthy enough physically to even be like in the best fighting shape to fight off this disease. And so, although it may seem like there's body shaming or there's these things going on that we're doing with our young girls, when really all we're teaching them is how to be healthy, keep your body strong, put the right fuel into it, because someday something may pop up and you need to have the best body possible to fight whatever disease may just pop up. We have to be strong. We have to be strong. Our organs have to be strong. Everything that we have has to be strong enough. Should disease come by, something that has nothing to do with anything that we've done, but disease comes in, are we strong enough to battle it? Are our kids strong enough to battle it? Or are we putting them in a deficit already?
Yeah, no, I think that it's honestly never the children's fault. It is 100% the parents' fault because it is our responsibility to nurture and take care of that human being and provide them the right food and nutrients and resources so that they can be healthy and strong. And so we get consumed with fast food, eating out, what tastes good versus what is actually fueling you. I mean, my kid's 12 and I had to have a serious conversation with her in the supermarket. Like, okay, look at the meat. Tell me which one you would buy and why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want her to already know that, hey, this whole summer, homegirl, you're going to learn about whole foods. You're going to learn how to cook and you're going to learn how to clean because you're 12. You could do it all on your own now. And I'm here to make sure you can. And so it's the parent.
Mm-hmm.
I could teach her mac and cheese, but then I'm also, no.
And I hate that because I love mac and cheese.
Listen, she has her ramen noodles. Yes, okay. I am not extreme,
I'm not a
but
monster.
but I do tell her, oh, okay, you just ate all that garlic bread and no protein. That's not how it works.
That's what I was telling my employee too. I'm like, look, I said, you need to give yourself a test and see if you can just shop the perimeter. If you can just shop the perimeter of the grocery store, right?
Yes.
When you've got your vegetables, you've got your meat on the back wall, you've got your dairy and your cheese, your butter, your eggs, all the things that you need. Just see if you can just shop the perimeter and make a meal.
Yes.
I think you can. I think you don't need anything in the boxes and the cans. I bet you don't. And so we were talking a couple days ago, and she was like, "I'm telling you," she goes, "Rob and I started shopping the perimeter." She goes, "It's amazing." She goes, "I don't need." I look down those aisles and go, "There's nothing down there I need." I'm like, "Thank you. Yes, I'm so proud of you." And I hate it that we all have to have a catalyst, to make us think about our health. But thank goodness that there was that catalyst. And her daughter is doing well. She's still in the middle of this. She'll be in the middle of it for like 2 years. But she got released from St. Jude's and is now at home finishing her chemotherapy and the treatments that she has to go through. And the family now has a different mindset, and I'm so happy for that.
I love that. No, that is great. And that's why Andy says it shouldn't have to take someone close near you or you yourself going
Right.
through the worst of the worst for you to make the changes that you need to do now.
Right.
And something that we speak about all the time is before people, as they got older, especially older generations, they have this conception the older they get, the weaker they get. But now, with all the science and everything that we've learned with how to actually get healthy and eat the right things, we're beating statistics and lasting longer and actually finding the fountain of youth through building muscle, eating right.
Yeah.
And you know this. You look amazing, by the way. Your
Oh,
transformation is such an amazing inspiration and a blessing. You keep doing it. You keep showing all women, it doesn't matter what age, that they can go ahead and achieve those results too.
well, the thing is too is like if you want to, like it's funny. I tell my kids all the time. Like I used to tell them, look, I'm living to 109. That's just how it's going to be. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And now I've upped it to 129. So like that's where I'm at. And I'm like, and you know what? I'm not going to die of disease. I'm going to be base jumping tandem to some good looking dude. We're going to be jumping off some cliff somewhere.
And that's
Dead carcass all the way down into the canyon because but this was awesome, and then I just checked out. But it's not going to be from disease for sure. So it's going to be because like I was having the time of my life, and that's where it ended right there. But if we think about it and go, okay, because people will talk about we talk about older people and their health is they'll go. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard people go, "Oh, I don't want to live that long." But you know why they don't want to live that long is because they don't want to be sick that long. That's what it is. They don't want to be sick that long. And so they're like, no, I'm not going to live that long. I told my son, I said something to him one time about living to 109. He's like, oh my gosh, you're going to live to 109? Like, he's like, I don't even know about that. I don't know that you're going to live to 109. I'm like, Google me, bitch. I bet I do. You won't be around to see it, but I'll be there. I'm like, it's just going to be, and he's like, I probably won't be there. And I'm like, if you don't think you will, you definitely won't be.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, let's talk about that because we know that, I mean, the physical part of it is 99% mental.
Oh, absolutely.
And so the argument that you have in the morning about what you're going to do today physically, right? Like it happens every day. There's not an argument. That little asshole that lives inside my brain.
Every single morning. I can't stand her. She is so annoying. She tells me the bed is comfortable. I literally have to look at my vision board right across my bed to remind me of the girl that I committed to, the body that I want, the identity that I want, because that voice is way louder in the mornings than any part of the day.
Absolutely. I don't even know why. Who woke that bitch up? Like seriously, like I wasn't even talking to you, lady. Shut up. And so it's funny because now I've changed my negotiation from whether I will work out or not as to which type of workout do I want to do today. So I've just changed it now. No is not an option. But will I go into my spare bedroom and ride my Peloton and do some weights in there? Will I actually go to the gym? Will I walk my neighborhood? What will I do today? Like the option anymore, I've taken that one away. The no is not an option now, but I did give myself options. So I gave myself option this, or this. And so like you have the freedom to choose your workout today. Like if you're feeling like a big ass puss and you just don't want to, then you're going to go for a walk in the neighborhood, listen to a podcast, but you're going to move today. And otherwise, like you're going to be at the gym. And then, if I'm short on time, like if I know like I have like something I have to be online for at a certain time, then I'm going to be in my home gym. I'm going to be on the Peloton and doing my dumbbells. You know what I'm saying? So I took no out of the equation, 100%.
I'm pretty hysterical because I talk to myself. And the way I talk to myself is hysterical, Robin, because I tell myself, I need you to look good, girl. Like, I need you to always look fine. I need you to always have it up right tight. Like, stop playing around. And then I'll put on my nice outfit and I'll feel good because I went through that period where I hated clothes even touching my skin. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I felt. It was an ugly, vicious cycle of me talking to myself even worse. And so I took a page from my larger, younger sister. My sister is actually overweight, but she thinks she's the finest girl ever. You can't tell her anything. Oh Lord. She's like, Jessy, it's okay. Look how cute I look. And I'm like, oh Lord, you just don't care. And she's like, I do care, but I'm not gonna let it mortify me or take away my value as a person. And I took that from her. And I was like, okay, bet. But I just actually did action.
Yeah. That's funny because so I don't even know if you know the story, but one time I probably told you before, but one time Ian and Evan and
The I'm a Car Chick podcast is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Listen now.
Andy were at an automotive dealership, was doing their big quarterly kickoff meeting with their team or whatever, and they had asked me to come in and speak, and they'd asked Andy to come in and speak. And I knew Andy and I knew each other. Like we hadn't like had long talks or whatever, but we had been in each other's presence quite a bit at that point. And so I knew Andy's shtick, right? I knew he was going to talk about, being fit and doing his disciplines and blah, 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 blah. And so I was really lucky. I got to go before him. I got to speak before he did. I'm like, fantastic. I did not want to follow Andy Elliott. I did not want to follow Andy Elliott. And so one of the things was that, and I've never suffered from, bad self-esteem, like never. And it's really kind of weird because I grew up at my older brother and sister, they're my half brother and sister, and they're 1/4 Indian. And they looked like, when we were growing up, they looked like these kids were snatched off the reservation in the middle of a famine. They were the skinniest kids you've ever seen with this long black straight hair and these big teeth. They literally were like these skinny. And I was this little chubby blonde hair, blue eyed, little fat kid. And so we would go somewhere together. We didn't even look related. And we would go somewhere together, and everyone would look at my brother and my sister, and they'd look at me and they'd go, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And she's so chubby. And they would just be like making whatever. And so my first impression was that chubby were cute. Like that's all the messaging I got. Like they were skinny and they were not attractive. And I wasn't skinny and I was. And that's the programming I had, right?
Wow.
And so I was telling that story. I wasn't telling that story to defeat Andy in any way, but to tell people the words that you speak have power, right? And so like somebody spoke those words to me at 3 years old, and my entire life I was okay being chubby. And I thought and I even said at the end, I'm like, I've been rocking this shit for 50 years. And it was funny. And you can see Andy going,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's funny because that was that in my mind, that was the dialogue, right? Like it was all good. It was all, yeah, that was my story. And so, so now, so I don't ever feel like I looked horrible. Like even if I look back at those pictures of whenever I was 60 pounds heavier or whatever, like I don't look at them and go, oh my gosh, she was so miserable. I thought I was sexy as shit then. You know what I'm saying? I thought this shit was awesome then, like your sister. I was your sister. And so now it's funny because now, like, okay, I may be stark naked. I'm in my bedroom and I have one of those dressers that has, a little blue dresser has a big mirror. And I'll walk past it and then I'll come back and go, hang on a second, let's look at that a second time. And I'm the only one in my bedroom. I'm just talking to myself. And I'm like, you got it. You just go.
Yes.
And so I think that those conversations, not just the ones you have in your head, but the ones that you say out loud are important. They're so important for you to hear your own mouth saying, girl, you're awesome.
Well, recently I discovered that that is literally prophesizing over yourself. So I'm a big person of words. They do cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. But more importantly is you are prophesizing what you're saying. So flip it. Even when we're doing tough workouts, instead of saying, oh my God, this is hard. Oh my God, this is hard. I have learned and I have taught people, Flip it. So even though it's hard, say it's easy. This is easy. This is easy. Just even saying it, even though you're struggling through it, but just the fact of saying it is easy, it is such a more of a mental ease through to push through that workout versus saying, oh my God, this is hard. How much longer? Oh my God. So you're drowning yourself in the anxiety right there versus
Mhm.
when you're prophesizing, it's easy. I got this. I can push through. It's easy. So then you're manifesting that you can go ahead and pull this through.
Right. I love that. Okay, let's go back to something personal again. So let's come back to so you entered into this walk of life with Andy and with Jackie. And what is something that you experienced that you didn't actually anticipate? You know what I'm saying? Like it caught you off guard that I was going to have to face this in this industry.
Um, the biggest disappointment is the fact that there's a lot of people who don't believe you could have this life. The fact that we honestly are trying to convince you that you can have it all. You can learn the skills, you can have your family. It's so hard for people to grasp that, Robin, that even right now I feel it and it hurts and it breaks me when we can't communicate ourselves or our coaches correctly to show that person that guess what, there is so much more. You can do more. You just have to stay consistent. You just got to do the work and you got to have the plan and just stay focused and push it through. And so that's one of the hardest things, is constantly every day, even though people reach out with that little bit of hope, it's having to make them believe in themselves, to hear it
Every,
in their voice that they're not surrounded by the right people, that they
right.
don't have their mind right, that they don't have their things together, and us trying to let them know, guess what? You did find somebody that is here, that does understand you, and that is going to help you reach those new limits. So that is one of the hardest thing that is a daily battle still to this day.
And you know what, I think about that because I have to do it within even my employees, right? So it's not even, I mean, it is self-limiting beliefs because somebody has told them all that they can be. You'll never, and I think parents, I mean, I think I don't even care if I'm popular because you know what? I'm 60 years old and I could give two flying shits, to be honest. I swear. But you know what? I think that telling a child that they'll never be anything more than X is way more detrimental than ever spanking their butt is. Honest to God. I mean, I think the mental garbage that you do with your children and you telling them all they can be, and are you sure you want to do that? Like, I don't know that you can do that. You want to know something? There's nothing that they cannot do. And I think that people bring in, like, even my employees, I've seen them over the years. I mean, and at one time we've had up to 70 employees here in this building. And we call it crabs in a bucket. And I don't know if you know the analogy, but like if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one of them is about to get out, the others will reach up and grab it back down into the bucket. They'll bring it back down. And so I'm always looking for those crabs in the bucket in people's lives. Like when I would elevate somebody to a manager, and it wouldn't be like, and they would be so good at production. It wouldn't be very long. They would do really good for like the first 2 weeks. And then they would start just self-sabotaging. And they were doing it because one, if they look around the people in their crowd and nobody is above this level, and they are above that level, they're having to make a choice. Either I'm going to come up here, I'm going to have to find a new circle of friends because these people, I mean, although they'll be my family and they'll be my whatever, I'm going to have to leave them behind because I'm this person, or you're embarrassed because now they think that you're better than them. They think that you think that you're better than them. And is that okay? And the mental garbage, especially with women are the worst at self-sabotage because somebody is in their ear, and they may not be in their ear right now, but they were in their ear when they were 12. They were in their ear when they were 14. They were in their ear when they were 16. And that's the beliefs. It's like the chubby kid. It's like, she's so cute and chubby, right? Like how long that stuck with me for 58 years. Think about that. And so they have to identify the sabotage that's going on inside their head, and then they have to replace those thoughts, not with I can't do it, but just like I did with working out, right? Like, not no isn't an answer, but this or this is my option today. Which one am I going to believe today?
Yes.
And I don't know how you guys do it, because I know, like, because you guys coach thousands of people, and for just my employees to just have to deal with it on a one-on-one, it's just exhausting. And I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad for them that they can't see better for themselves as well.
No, it's stressful, but it's also rewarding when we do. And those are what we hold on to, and that's what we share. We share, hey, this guy follows us. He's changed his life. Look at his family now. Look at what he's doing with his business. He's getting closer with his kids. And like, it's those that we hang on to, because that's another person. And I know that person is going to share their story as well. And it's just the spider effect at this point. We just believe really in the mission, and the fact that God is a big factor in the Elliott group. Without God, we wouldn't be able to function. We put him in the front of everything. And so that is the core of the Elliott group. And so it helps us.
So I know that's disappointing for you. That's probably ongoing disappointing for you. And I think if I think about like anything joining this industry, because I did sit on the board of Women in Automotive. I have retired from that board seat now, but I am still heavily involved in women in automotive. And I think just seeing the same battles recycling without any forward progress for me is probably the most, not discouraging, but it's probably alarming. And I think that nobody has come up with the solution yet. What's the solution to keeping women in this space?
I think is teaching our experiences, because a lot of people learn it and don't say what they went through to actually overcome it. So if we got into the space where we actually, and we do this here at the Elliott Group, we share what we currently are struggling in order to get to the next level of who we're becoming. And so we are quick to say, hey, like, I wasn't on the right mindset. So what did I do? I made sure I did my about 10 calls. I'm going to go downstairs, do a 30-minute workout. I'm going to feel better, and then come right back on and have a fresh perspective. And so, but if you don't know that he actually went to attack those 30 minutes, the devil inside his head. It wasn't about the workout. It wasn't about the weight. It was about the stupid, annoying voice that was going through his head at that moment, telling him that he wasn't enough and he wasn't doing good and he wasn't going to get him to actually change his life. Like those.
Epic BDC is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Tune in.
That's what he went downstairs to work on for 30 minutes.
And the thing is, that's even scientific, right? So now he goes and works out, and now the endorphins kick in, those brain chemicals, the good ones, all kick in, the serotonin and that dopamine hit his brain, and now he can go back to doing this thing again.
Yeah, because now he believes in himself. He fought the voice that was in his head. And so now he can attack with that new perspective. And that is what we are teaching that hasn't been taught. Most people just shut up, take it, then you get ran over, you get walked over, or some people don't even know how to handle that situation or how to deal, or they get drowned in. I had someone here that was drowning in the fact that, oh my God, I've just been on the phone for 200 calls, and I've only spoken to 10 people out of the 200 calls. And they were just starting to drown in their head. Literally, go. Get out of the office. Go work out for the day. They came back and did 400 calls the next day. Crushed it. And
Nice.
it's just about, what are you saying to yourself out loud and not out loud? And what are you doing about it when those voices come up? Mm-hmm.
It's funny. We have here at my property, we have about almost 7 acres, but our parking lot is pretty big. And so there's times like if they see me heading outside, I'm doing one of two things. So generally, like if I hit overwhelm, which is super rare, like right now I have several events coming up that I'm keynoting at two of them, and then I have a couple of other events that I'm doing some training at, and I'm like they're I'm the world's worst about not concentrating on the next thing until this thing's done. Like I don't think 3 events ahead because I just can't. And all of the walls inside of my office are white glass. So we write on everything. It's white glass. It's not dry erase boards. Everything. When we built this building, we put white glass. And so like finally, like when I get overwhelmed, I go and I walk the parking lot. We'll do 2 laps around the parking lot and go, okay, let's put everything in the segments it needs to be in. All of the things need to slide like a Plinko board, right?
Yes.
All of the Plinko things need to fall into the slots down below. And then I came back in, I wiped off all of my glass in my office, and then each panel, because they're not like one big one. They're like, I think they're like 3 foot wide by like 9 foot tall. I'm looking around because there's one in my office here, or my podcast studio here. And so this board right here is for women in automotive. This board right here is for by appointment only. This one right here may be for the next Elliott event, right? Like whatever it is. So I'm breaking them all out and then go, okay, here's the things I need to remember about this and the things I need to work on. And then if I can look at it, then it's not all just this jumble. I've captured it and I put it somewhere where I know I've caught it. And then it doesn't have to keep recycling through my brain for me to remember.
No, I get that.
So speaking of the next Elliott event, tell us about what's coming up next.
Oh my goodness. So July, we have our Master Closer Seminar, which is the event that we are very, very most well known for, because that's when all the automotives from everywhere, Canada, even Puerto Rico. I've had people from Ireland come all over the US here at the Lion's Den and just handle objections, how to close, how to communicate, how to negotiate, how to speak well, and then surround yourselves with savages that want to do the same as you. Because the worst thing is that these guys are surrounded with people who are okay being average. They're okay being comfortable. They're okay with getting a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. And the people that come to the Lions Den at the Master Closer seminars, they want to crush everybody. They want to crush the competition. They want nobody so close to them at second place that they're on a whole nother board. So these are the people that are coming July.
Savage.
From average to savage.
Yeah, average to savage. I love it. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coining these phrases here now. So if somebody wants to come to the Master Closer Seminar, what are the dates in July?
It's going to be July 11th and 12th. We always have a workout the day before, because if you suffer together, you get closer together. You build together. And so then the next day, all day from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, it's full training, live objection handling, no egos in the room. Everybody's there to really learn. Nobody's there to make fun of anybody. Everybody's there to grow.
I love it. I love it. And then if they want to come, what does it cost? How do they register? How do they get on? And how many people are normally there?
Normally, we have anywhere from 300 to 500 people. Recently, our MindCon event is the biggest event we had, and we had 1,000 people. And of course, we had a lot of David Goggins people that came in from that. But as far as automotive specific Master Closer seminars, we have about 300 to 500 people that come. And it's July, we have one, July 11th, 12th, and then October and November we'll be having another.
Nice. And so then they just go to the website and find it, or is there a special place, Jessy? Like if you give me a link, I can put it in the podcast down below and they can click your link and then go get registered for this event?
Absolutely. And when you go ahead, because we don't, for a master closer or any event at the Elliott Group, we don't want you to purchase a seat. We want to know who you are, what's your goals, and how are we going to help you at this event achieve that. We want to make sure that you're going to get what you came for. And so everything is relational. So yes, I will go ahead and give you all my link information and you can reach out to me anytime.
I love it. I love it. And I've been to one, and it was amazing. It was, I don't even know what I expected because I didn't come in for that. I came in to shoot a podcast with Andy, and then Andy graciously invited us to stay the weekend. And it's a funny story because we didn't really come equipped. We came equipped to come in and stay for one day. And then Andy's like, no, you have to stay the whole weekend. And I was like, well, I didn't pack for that. So we hit the Goodwill right there by your guys' office, got some cool crap. And it's funny, then we were done, we just went back and donated it back. And Andy sent us with like 1 million t-shirts home too. So we had plenty of wardrobe to wear while we were there. But it was amazing. And if you haven't ever been to the Lion's Den, to come in and talk to everybody there I've not met anybody, and it's funny because people ask me all the time. Since Andy and I did the podcast, people ask me all the time. They're like, "So tell me about Andy Elliott," and I'm like, "Nicest person I've ever met, the kindest human I can say that is so misunderstood." And the cool thing is I don't really think he gives a crap that people misunderstand him because he knows who his audience is and he knows who he's out there trying to help, and everything else is just white noise.
Yes.
It's just filler. And they'll be like, really? And I'm like, yes, really. Like, I'm not even kidding you when I tell you that there is rarely a time when I text Andy that he doesn't reply immediately. Like, I'm not kidding you. And like, it rarely ever happens that he doesn't just respond right back to me.
Andy Elliott's work ethic is alien, okay? Alien. And remember how I told you he trains me? I was with him side by side as he was answering every single YouTube comment, every single organic message. I learned exactly how he communicated with every single person, and he would answer like this. He would always be like, zero it out. Make sure you never have a message left. Zero it out. Everybody here, if he sees, and he will check your phone. If he sees that little bubble of unread messages, he's like, that's unacceptable.
It isn't acceptable. Like, I currently have 7 because we're on this call. I literally have 7. That's it. But that's all. And probably some of that is my team communicating with dealerships, not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm in the loop on all of them, but I go through and read everything. And I'm the same way. Like, 0 inbox is what I want all the time, whether it's in Facebook Messenger or if it's in my text messages. Like, no. Like, I can't take it. And I'll pick up Beverly's phone and be like 141. I'm like, I grabbed her phone one day and started clearing them out. I'm like, what? Why? Like, just delete them. If they're garbage, delete them or hit stop so that they stop coming in. I mean, how do you live like that?
I have no.
But it is truly, I think, shocking to people. I mean, if you knew how many times people have asked me, what's he really like? And I'm like, have you never met him? Like, have you never stood face to face with him? Like, even when someone's being ignorant with him, when we were at NIADA and he was like 2 booths down from me. You guys were 2 booths down from me, had the music playing, and that guy comes up and he's like, oh, I wish would you turn your music down, whatever. And he wasn't even a shit with them. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, we're just trying to get some energy up, man. We're just trying to do blah, 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 blah. He didn't get ignorant with them. The guy was being that way, but I think that I think that his intensity comes through because those are the snippets that we grab because everyone wants him to feel that intensity. And I think sometimes that may come across as I'm an asshole when he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, and I'm telling you, I'm not a kind person. So if I tell you I think someone's a jerk, I really feel like that. Like they'll have to do a lot to redeem themselves if I say that dude's a jerk. Like don't hang out with him. But for me, not like anybody's looking around for like, what, Robin, what do you think? But like, I just really feel like he's one of the kindest and most genuine people I've ever met that I felt. And it may be a big show. And you could tell me, I felt like when he said, we're here for you, your family, I'm going to keep you by my side. I'm going to make sure this thing, that social grenade works and we get this off the ground. I felt that was sincere.
It is. It genuinely is. Listen, with Andy, and I've known him so long that I've seen all sides of him. And it's hard sometimes hearing, I know he can come off, and it's not coming off as a bully. It's literally tough love. He is telling you what nobody has told you, what you needed to hear, and that makes him the bad guy in a soft served world, because we are in a soft served world right now, where if you literally tell someone or correct someone in a polite way, they think you're bullying them or being mean to them, because there are people who do talk down, who are bullies. So it's literally in a changing constantly. With Andy, it's crazy because a lot of the dealers say, I don't need him yelling in my face or this and that and telling me what I know I need to do. And I have to communicate. Listen, what you see on social media is exactly what is meant to be seen. It is for your attention. It is to
The I'm a Car Chick podcast is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Listen now.
grab your attention. Now
It's
that
inflammatory.
Now that we have it, let me introduce you to the Andy Elliott training system. He is so soft spoken. He is very, very tactical in showing you step by step how to communicate and be a master communicator, how to handle public speaking, how to serve people at the highest level, because you're not transactional. You're here to serve their uncle, their aunt, their kids. Whenever they think of you always know the realtor person, a doctor, a plumber, a pool person, and an automotive person. So you better make sure you are that person for them.
Absolutely. And the thing is that it's not that he's doing anything different than maybe that GM or that DP is doing. However, he's doing it publicly.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what he puts it all out there without fear. He has that bravery that, to just go, look, these are my convictions. This is what you should be doing. This is how you should be working. These are the standards that you should be living by. And although I live that life too with my employees, like they're like, I love you because you just tell us the truth. Because like they know, do not come and sit in my office and ask for my opinion unless you're ready for it. And then bring a Kleenex because you're going to probably be crying when you leave. But I don't record that and put it on social, you know what I'm saying? Where Andy's all makes it out there. Because like if they have gotten to the point where they're coming to me, they have run through every other asset that they had and they're at the end of their rope. And I refuse to candy coat anything for them. I only think people have time for the truth. They don't have time for crap. They don't have time for fluff. And if you want a yes man, don't step in my office. Don't come. Like if you want that person, you need to go see Beverly because she'll love on you and she'll do whatever and she won't tell you the hard things. She may tell you, you need to go see Robin. she will not tell you because she has a fear of conflict, right? To me, conflict, this is a wrong word, not fun, but I probably run towards it more than I run away from it.
Me too. I have no problem with confrontation. I know somebody that is like, I just don't do well with confrontation, and they could be extremely bothered by a person. And I have no problem or hesitation because I feel like they might not know. A lot of people don't have awareness, so they need to know. And if I have to be that person to speak up, then I will.
Absolutely. And really, shouldn't we all be advocates for each other and for ourselves instead of just taking it and then sitting back in our own pee pants, just being so upset because, that person said a thing. Well, you want to know what? If you don't ever tell them, hey, that thing right there, that wasn't cool. And Mike, I love boundaries more than about anything. Like I love establishing boundaries. Like the minute you step that toe over my line, like a toe, I'm like, I don't know what you were thinking, but move back over a bit. Okay, now we're good again. You get to stay right there. And it has protected me a lot over the years to be able to do that and to not be afraid of that. And now, like, even if someone, like I had one of my employees the other day, he said something, like I asked him a question and he answered me in a manner that I wasn't even okay with. And I'm like, did you mean to answer me that way, or did you want to rephrase all of that? Because none of that was okay. And he was like, I was just saying. I'm like, no, I'm just asking, did you want to rephrase that? Are you sticking by that one? And he's like, give me a few minutes, boss. I'm like, okay, let's try that again. But, where do you see, like, I know that you're one of those integral pieces, one of those integral chess pieces within the Elliott Army that gets moved a lot, right? Because you're so valuable
I'm
and
the
you know so much.
linchpin. I am a live actual linchpin. I've been a sales manager. I run the dealer division. I help Andy and Jackie with their schedules, not just in the business, but their personal lives. Like, I am a full linchpin because they can trust me. They have my loyalty. They have my trust. They can trust me with their kids, their finances completely. I've never, ever stepped my boundaries, disrespected them, or given them any reason not to. And ultimately, I do feel like God brought us all back together for that ultimate reason. I mean, we were together 20 years ago, and then life took us apart, and now we're back together again. I feel like God is purposely doing that for each of us, our kids, ourselves, like Andy, Jackie, me. It's ultimately above and beyond. Like, I know God didn't bring me this far for no reason.
Mhm. So, but do you ever get frustrated because you're like, you get settled into one role that you're supposed to be playing at the Lion's Den, and then like a need arises and you're the go-to person to unplug here and plug in back over here?
I will get frustrated for a whole 5 minutes probably. Just because, okay, damn, I have to pivot, I have to restructure, I had a plan. And so that will be my frustration. It's like, okay, but I'm very adaptable. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't mind for them to use me where I know I'm going to be needed the most. The company needs me at that point. And
Right.
so I have so much knowledge, so much resources. I mean, I can do anywhere from HR to financing to customer relations. And so they can trust me to handle it. And they trained me. Andy Elliott and Jacqueline Elliott trained me themselves.
I have a person here at my office. So Shasta is that person, and she's just such a well-rounded, and she's been with us since the beginning. That I know that I can. I mean, I can. Matter of fact, I've done it several times. I've unplugged her and plugged her in somewhere else, and I know that at times when she was like, "I don't want that job." I'm really good at this job. And I'm like, I know, but I don't have anybody else to do this job. And I've got 3 other people that can fill that job right there. I need you over here running the BDC because we have an outsourced BDC. And she was like, yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm like, it's okay. You're smarter than everybody else I have right now. So I know that you learning it, your learning curve is way shorter than somebody else's is. And I know you fit our culture. I know that you know the entire rest of the company, like all of it. And so I put her in as the BDC manager and then the BDC director. And she has been there since, I want to say 2021 until just this last week. And I moved her to CMO. And she knows everything about every division with Social Grenade, with SCP Agency, with Epic BDC. And so instead of hiring somebody else and having to train them in that position, she knows all of it.
Mhm.
And so now she just has to work out what her processes are for that. And I know, and the cool thing is like I wanted her for that position, but I know her well enough that I had, whenever I go, you know what, we have to have a CMO for this position. And she was like, well, it's probably me. And I'm like, well, I know, but I need you to say that it's probably you. I need you to be like, yes, and don't feel like you're abandoning the BDC. She goes, no, Chrissy's running the BDC. She's doing a great job over there. She doesn't need me over there. I'm like, okay. And so I know how frustrating it can be whenever like you're developing something and you got a rhythm going and you're over the dealer division, right? And then they go, hey, Jessy, we need you to do this thing over here. And you're like, but I feel like I'm abandoning all of these
Yeah.
people that have built up a following with me and who trust me. And so I know that that's hard. However, as a company owner, like Jackie and Andy, I understand that when there's that one trusted person that's in your organization that is like the most rounded person that you know that you can plug and play, it's hard for us not to do that. And it's hard for us to not look around and go, who else do we have this developed that isn't like a number two to Jessy that I could plug in anyways and not take Jessy out of the gold mine that she is right there. So I know it's got to be a struggle for you too sometimes.
It is, and it's so funny because right now that I am Andy's assistant again temporarily while his is on maternity leave, I actually just found a fresh perspective of how would I create this position better to help Andy be better. And so that's how I take on new challenges or new shifts. Like, how can I improve this department now? So I'll build out new systems and processes. I love the dealer division. Ultimately, like you said, you have your person that knows their niche, knows what they're really, really good at, who they can connect to, like GMs, GSMs, automotive salespeople. I could connect to them because I've been there. I know exactly what you're going through. I know how to do a meet and greet, how to do a walk around, how to close them, how to take them in for the pencil, doing the finance box and the warranties. I know how to do all of that. But ultimately, Andy also needs me to help support and organize him right now. So it's like, okay, well, how can I duplicate myself? So I get real creative too, and it's all because of being surrounded in this kind of environment. Before, I would have a limiting belief of, oh, well, I only know how to do this. I can't learn anymore. Now, girl, I've been doing Zooms. I know how to do all the kinds of chat GPT. We just made ourselves babies. I'll send you my baby picture here soon.
That's so funny because it's one of the things that I tell people this, but like when ChatGPT rolled out in November of 2022, that's the day I know when it rolled out because they're like, hey, there's this thing, and I'm like, hey, I'm this shiny new object person all the time. I'm like, what's that? What's that thing? Should we have that thing? And so I signed up for an account like in November of 2022, and then a good friend of mine, his name is Jeff J. Hunter, and Jeff, I was part of his. I've been at conferences where he's spoken. We're friends. We've met each other, and I've taken some of his courses. Like before AI rolled out, he had a social copy secrets. So how to write copy for social media that will get more eyeballs and get more engagement. Just the text part of it, not even including the image part of it. So I had been part of that for a long time, and so when ChatGPT rolled out, Jeff also had another company called VA Staffers. So he had virtual assistants, a whole group of them in the Philippines that worked for him, that he did VA staffing for people. He got on a plane in December of 22 and flew to the Philippines and went, we're all going to lock ourselves into this hotel conference room and we're all going to learn AI until we understand it, until we learn how that's going to change our industry and what we can do to be more efficient using it. And so he came back, and then in January of 23, I was in West Virginia doing BDC training at a dealership.
Epic BDC is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Tune in.
A 7 rooftop group dealership there, and Shasta and I were both there. And Jeff goes, "Okay, I got to share with you what I learned." And I'm like, "Dude, let's do it." And he goes, "Okay, but I have to charge you for this." And I'm like, "I don't care. Send me whatever. Send me an invoice, whatever you want." And so after I got done training at BDC that day, Shasta and I were on a Zoom with Jeff. He's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, basically. And he's walking me through how to build out a persona. This is January 2023. Yeah, so he's teaching me how to build out a persona and like all of it. So we're walking through it all together, whatever. He's like, you have to do this thing right here. And so now for every dealer that we have on organic social, or even BDC wise, when we first get that client, we go in and we customize them a GPT, right? This is for them. We tell them everything that we know about that dealership, about their culture, about how they do business, any of their taglines, any of the things that they've been involved in the community. And then I ask it, knowing all of this, and if you are going to perform as my marketing manager for this dealership, what else do you need to know from me to do your job efficiently? And then it goes, and it pops. it pops me out like 20 questions, right? And I go back and answer every one of them, go back and answer every one, and then go, now do you feel like you have the voice of this dealership down? And they may ask me some more, it may ask me some more follow-up questions, but we do that. And then that chat is named Sames Ford. And so anytime we get content for Sames Ford, we get it out of that chat. We don't start a new one. That one is curated for Sames Ford, and we stay right there. And so we do that for every one of and for ourselves personally. Like I've taught it exactly who I am. So if I'm writing a bio for myself, or if I am working on a course for you, or if I'm working on a keynote for somebody, like it knows I'm snarky. I've given it everything I've ever written in the past. It can read all my social medias. It can see what a little smart aleck I am. And then it can write like me, because I don't ever want it to not sound like who I am. And so it's so important. I was doing a podcast yesterday, and Dave Hudson was talking about, you should just he was like talking to the audience going, you should never have to worry about like writing a script for TV again. Just go to ChatGPT and do it all. I said, hang on a second, Dave. They have to know, first of all, how to prompt AI. If you don't know how to create a prompt to tell it what you need it to do, I said, so your first step, if you're going to teach somebody how to do that, is to write out some sample prompts that they can use and then see if that works for them. But they don't even know all of the information they need to give it to do a good job. I spend 1 day every weekend learning something. So whether it's AI, whether it's best YouTube practices, or the best way to figure out like what you should post next on TikTok, what time should you post? What is the point system? All that stuff. I spend 1 day a weekend just doing that, sitting with my computer on my lap. I'm not at the office, and I'm learning something. And I think that we live in this instant world where people just want you learn it and then you tell me. Yeah. And it's like, no, you have to have that practical, right? You have to practice it, right? Like I'm constantly like, I see somebody do cool, like whenever whichever one of the Macklins created the baby
Yes.
Andy. I was like, and I'm not even watching all of the baby Theo Vaughns. Those cracked me the hell up. I love that guy so much. And I was just like, okay, because I'd already been researching which apps do I use to do this with, whatever. And so I'm like, Jessy, which one? And she's like, this and then this. I'm like, okay, great. And I spent like half a day dialing that thing in, and then I was like trying to get the audio over. It was a whole thing. But like I want to know, and so I think about your students and like you running the automotive division of this. I think the most successful people that come through Andy Elliott are the ones who actually do
Absolutely.
the work. Like, will they do the work, or do they think they can just listen half-heartedly while they're doing something else? Because I watch them doing something else while they're on your Zooms. And are they really paying attention? Or are they halving it and then listening for a thing that may be the secret thing? I'm going to learn one thing. It's going to be so secret. Or are they like digging in and taking notes? Like what do you see on your success ratio of people who just kill it within the Elliott Army? Like, who are they?
We have those three different people, though. We have the people that just watch it for entertainment and don't actually apply it. We have the people, I actually love the younger generation because they don't want to go to college. They just want to learn how to make money, but on the flip side, they don't know that Andy's going to teach them how to be a better person and how to treat people really, really right. It's not just about making money. And that's the difference. And so the people that actually apply what they're learning in the videos are the ones that are maximizing and getting the best and actually doing the highest numbers at the dealership. The ones that don't even watch Andy in the training, they have access to the training system, but yet they watch Andy still on YouTube. It beats the whole purpose. The YouTube was to get your attention and entertain you and give you just the baby food of a taste. The training, the actual training system and the videos themselves with the skills, that is what you need to repeatedly watch and actually apply and do. But then the add-on is the events. It's almost like Disney World. Everybody could tell you how fun Disney World is, but until you are there, you realize what a magical place this actually is. And so at events, sales pros, they come in thinking they're going to sit and just be talked to and lectured for hours because they're probably GM forced them to come. And then they leave out of there crying because they just either gave their life to God, decided to totally recreate. And I've had people throw away their pack of cigarettes at a seminar. Okay. And so that is the action, the applying the action of what Andy says are the people that are actually getting the most out of it. I have 19-year-olds making over 10 grand checks, Robin, only because they just like watching the video and listening to Andy. And Andy says for them to write it out. So they'll write it out, they'll repeat it. And then the next thing you know, I get a testimony of, Jessy, I just made 12 grand because I closed 3 car deals today.
I love
It's
it.
applying what you learn always. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I could talk about this for another 3 hours because I just get so excited about just like Andy does, just like you do, helping people become the better version of themselves, and how, how do we get past the head junk and dig all of that crap out of there and then just get this person to be, to break that generational curse, right? I know that is that's so important. It should be so important to everyone, but I think I'm so excited for the upcoming Master Closer Seminar in July. And if any of you on here are like, you know what, I've been in a rut. Like I'm a 20 car a month guy, and if you've been a 20 car a month guy for 5 years, you're in a rut. Like, why haven't you gotten any better? Why haven't you figured out a smoother process? Why haven't you implemented something else to make yourself go to 25, go to 30, go to 40? You're in a rut. I don't give a crap if you're the top guy every month. You're still in a rut. So what can you do? What can you invest in yourself? And what time investment, what emotional investment can you put in yourself? And can you be humble enough to sit somewhere for a weekend and let somebody pour into your soul and pour into your heart and give you all of the words that will make a huge difference in not just your life, but your wife, your kids, your mom, your dad, everybody else around you. And if you could do that, why wouldn't you? Why would you not make sure that you were at, July or October or November, like whatever they are? Like, you should be like, when is the next one? It's taped up in my office. It has been. Like, whenever I went to tell Beva about what the dates were, and she goes, "Hang on, that's not the dates I have." And I had the next one, like the one that's Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday, or whatever. Like I had. That's what I was reading off your little thing, and she goes, no, it's July 11, 12. It's on my wall right here. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I say get there. I think you'll be surprised at how amazing everybody that is part of the Elliott Army, how gracious and open and warm that they are. And I think that you would feel welcome and that you would know 100% that that's where you were supposed to be that weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing with us is come with an open mind, because you're going to actually get to create your new identity. And when you create your new identity, we're going to implant it so well that there will be no diverting from it anymore. And that stupid, annoying voice that you hear every morning, that is the old version of you creeping up. And you just got to keep looking at that new identity.
I love it. All right, we're going to wrap up here. Jessy Castillo has been my guest today. I'm so happy to know her as a human, and I can't wait to see you in July. And for everybody else, check the link below. I'll put Jessy's link down there for you to get registered also for the Master Closer Seminar, July 11th and 12th. Be one of those 500 people in the room. Do not miss out on that. By all means, change your life this year. It's 2025. Do something epic. Jessy, thank you.
Have a great day.